What's up guys, C2113 here, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining all the issues that I've had with my ATOTO A6 Pro double DIN Android head unit and why I'm returning it. Alright guys, so I've actually pulled the ATOTO unit out of my dash again. And that is because I just cannot live with this unit. There are so many nice features to this thing, and I really do want to love it. But there are two big ones. One of them is solvable if you buy the physical button version of this thing. Unfortunately, the other is entirely a failure of the software programming. And until they decide that they're going to fix it, which, considering people have been asking about this since early this year, and they still haven't fixed it, I wouldn't buy this and wait for that. Let's put it that way. All right. In the future, they might fix it. So the first issue is something that I actually commented on in the unboxing video, but it's become very apparent that this is a problem that even though I thought it wouldn't be, because of the angle of the head unit is in my dash, just kind of slightly tilted up, this isn't going to work, which is the parallax effect from just how far away the inside display is from the outer digitizer. I mean, you can see that air gap is massive. And you know what? Just to give you a better perspective, I'll put my finger on there. I don't know if you can see just how much space there is. It's insane. I mean, you know, first gen iPhone never had that much of a gap. So I mean, this is really unacceptable. And the accuracy, considering how small some of the UI elements still are, especially when you're using non-ATOTO apps. You know, I realize that ATOTO apps are touch optimized for, you know, big touch areas. But, you know, for something as simple as a YouTube app, trying to play and pause that while I'm sitting in the driver's seat is absolutely insane. You know, trying to hit small UI elements. So it's very frustrating. So honestly, that is an instant deal breaker. But their non-touch button version that doesn't have the touch button panel, but instead has physical buttons along the bottom bezel, that one doesn't have that problem. The screen is laminated just like any other head unit, and you shouldn't have a problem. But the issue that I'm having that is absolutely, I cannot live with this. I really tried for 3 or 4 days and I can't do it, is that the sub volume control is totally wonky. So basically here, if we go to sound settings, and we go to subwoofer output, if I set this, turn it on, and I set it to auto, so it's in auto right now, I'm going to turn on the volume so I don't damage the sub, just so that I can show you what this does. Alright, we'll switch back to YouTube, to this copyright free music here, and I just want you to hear, so it's on volume 8 right now. Okay, you're like, alright, that's whatever, right? All of a sudden, the sub is going insane. And if I keep going, I'll damage the sub. And then look, if I turn the volume down, I can barely hear the music now, but I can also barely hear the sub. So within like three adjustments of the volume, the sub is going off the rails. So basically, when I saw this, I immediately was like, okay, their automatic whatever setting is totally wonky, but that's fine. You know, because I'll just go and set it to the manual setting, and then it'll set a manual reference volume. So it'll basically put it a certain number of dBs off from, you know, the main 4-channel output. And then, you know, I can just, you know, it'll adjust automatically from there. So like, I was like, all right, you know what, I think 8 sounds good. So I went to test it out. I was like, 8 sounds good. And then I kept turning the volume up, and the sub output doesn't increase. Even as you turn the volume up, the sub output doesn't go up with it. And then I realized the disgusting truth, which is that the manual mode, all it does is manually set the sub volume at a setting 8. You don't know what that is. You don't know how many dBs it is. That's it. And then in order to change it again, you have to go into the sound settings and then find subwoofer output and then adjust the slider, which basically means that anytime you want to touch the volume adjustment setting, so like if I'm like, you know what, it's kind of loud right now. I want to turn the volume down a couple notches, and you turn it down to 16. Now your subwoofer might be too loud. And guess what? If you want to go and change that, now you got to go to the settings, right? So let's say you're at the home screen, right? You're jamming out or something, you're in Pandora. Now you want to get to the sound settings. You got to hit this, hit that, and then you got to adjust the slider, which, by the way, is impossible to adjust in small increments. It takes forever. And then the worst part of all is you don't have enough fine control here. So the difference between 8 and 9 could be too much for one and too little for the other. So guys, in conclusion, this thing has so many positives, all right? So many positives, because the UI is genuinely developed from the ground up for car use. A lot of these, people saying, oh, well, it runs Android 6.0. That's ancient. It's like, well, it doesn't matter, because it's engineered to be user-friendly in a car environment. It's got big touch areas, big UI elements, and easy to, pleasing to the eye. Colors makes it easy to identify things with contrast. I mean, it's very well thought out. And you can see here, your EQ adjustment is all right here. All the touch controls are at the bottom, which makes sense in a car. You have an easy pull down from the notification center. It's all right here. You have an easy dimmer switch right here if you want to dim your brightness, adjust to different settings. It's very well thought out. But I'm sorry to say that as a guy who listens to a lot of music, I literally, when I'm in my car, if I'm driving anywhere, it could be 3 minutes down the road, I will turn on music, either Pandora or my iPod, Apple Music, whatever. And so the whole point of a radio is duty number one of a head unit should be good, usable audio output and control of speakers and subwoofers. I'm sorry to say this thing can't do that. And the worst part for me, honestly, is that the actual quality of the primary internal preamp, it's good. The primary speakers in this car are good. They sound good, and they're not the greatest quality. All right, now, yes, it's a Mercury, but I changed out the speakers for the Lincoln Town Car speakers, so they're slightly better. They got like a slightly better integrated. They actually got an integrated separate tweeter and all that, whatever. But they're still just paper speakers. They're not great. But this thing made it sound 10 times better. Made these door speakers and the rear deck speakers sound 10 times better than the factory head unit. And a subwoofer. Honestly, the subwoofer sounds good. The only problem is there is no way to tie the subwoofer volume to the regular speaker volume, and as a result, it's completely unusable. It goes from a very nice, it goes from the possibility for a very nice, streamlined listening experience, complete with Bluetooth functionality and all the rest, into just an absolute nightmare that feels so archaic to have to, have to manually change the subwoofer volume, and oh man. So in conclusion, guys, if you're considering this head unit at all, and let's say you're like, okay, well, I don't care because my car doesn't have a sub and I don't want a sub, then definitely go with the physical buttons version of this head unit. I will leave a link for that in the description, because I do believe that they make a good product. And honestly, ATOTO, if you're watching this, please, please, please do something about your subwoofer volume controls. That needs to be fixed, because I want to recommend this thing. Honestly, I wanted to recommend this thing when I first got it. All right, it was I was that impressed the minute I turned it on and played with it. But between the fact that it's a little slow, and especially those subwoofer controls and the screen, I can't recommend this at all. I really can't. So, but like I said, if you want to get this, go with the other version. I'll leave a link in the description. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. That's my disappointing reason why I gotta leave this behind. So if you liked the video, give me a like. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. And don't forget to get subscribed.